Welcome to the 40th episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. It's 40 episodes, everybody. That's a lot. We got 10 away from 50, which, let me tell you, I'm just going to drop a little hint. The 50th is going to be big. But
big.
Right now, we got Nick over at MPG Creations, Josh over at North Country Woodworking, myself, AJ from Crafted and NJ, and joining us today is Lucas at Mann Made In MA. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you guys.
So, Nick, I think we have to hear from a few people called our sponsors.
Right you are, AJ. First up, we got to hear from Jtechphotonics. For that ultimate laser experience, visit www.jtechphotonics.com. And for that ultimate epoxy experience, head over to Totalboat.com. Use promo code SawdustNationPod for 15% off your order. And lastly, Orca Abrasives. We want to give a great thank you to Orca Abrasives for supporting this podcast. You can head over to their website and use promo code SawdustNation10 for 10% off their abrasive products. But nobody wants to hear any more about promos right this minute. We all are dying to know. Lucas is here. We got to know what's going on in your shop there, Lucas.
Well, the drill is still not done, so nothing's changed. It's still not done. It was going to be done today. Then we had a hardware malfunction.
Oh.
You were so close, man. You were so close.
Yep. Just the forgot the critical evaporust process.
Oh, God. That stuff, you told me about that stuff, and then when you told me it was on sale on Amazon, yeah. I picked up 2 gallons of it.
Yep.
And it sat in my basement for the longest time, and I'm like, why did I buy so much? And I'm like, well, one day I'll use it. The stuff works good.
It does when you remember to use it. And I was really tempted to go and just get more hardware, but it's a unique length, and we'll just clean it.
Yep.
And we'll do it tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. So that's still in pieces, and then a few other little things. A few other little, quick jobs.
Mm-hmm. What's the next big job besides you had the Unisaw, now you have the Uni drill?
Correct. I'm going to finish the other drill.
Okay, the Rockwell,
yep.
I believe?
Yep, the other Rockwell, which is a Reeves drive, variable speed one. Did the head on it, but nothing else. So I'm going to finish that one. And then I know you guys have talked about this a little bit. Got to jump into the router table world.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a beautiful world.
Yeah, I might be picking your brain about that a little bit, but yeah, I gotta do it.
Yeah,
gotta get something. I have enough routers. I just need to get a lift and decide where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it in the wing or standalone.
Yeah, definitely don't slack like I did. And I had all the components ready. I had a brand new router sitting on my other bench, and it sat there collecting dust. Then I installed it, and it is the best thing I have ever done to that shop.
I can't wait.
So, do you have a lot of shop space, or are you limited on shop space?
I'd say it's half and half. I think it's about 26 by 20-ish right now. It's basement, so it's there's a height restriction, but that's where I've got everything right now. And then I've got a space that's about the same because the basement's basically divided into thirds. So I have a space that's about the same that has kind of become an overflow area, and my goal is to get that emptied out and then divide up wood and metal into 2 spaces, which will free up a lot of space to have more working room and acquire more junk.
Now, regardless of the amount of space you have, you always want to conserve space because it gives you more room to buy more stuff and build bigger stuff like you do. So, I mean, my vote would be throw it into that table saw wing, save that space, and I'm telling you, man, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I mean and then I get to obviously reap the benefit of having a fence on the table saw that does double duty. So
yep.
Well, my vote would be to get a standalone.
We don't want to hear from you.
I don't have a horse in this
Who's
race.
talking right now?
The only reason I was thinking standalone is I have this 1940s cast iron and steel Walker Turner cabinet saw base, just the shell.
Nice.
With basically if you took the table and the motor and everything out, it's just the shell. which would be a perfect router table. Like, think of it as like a shaper cabinet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do with it. It's just sitting in the corner.
Well, so check it out. I that's a great, especially if you already have it in your shop. That's a great resource to use, and you put some casters on there and roll that son of a gun around. But what I was thinking is, every time I go to break down some sheet goods, and you have that router fence up, you got to right. 'Cause you're not necessarily going to have your table saw fence as the same as your router fence, because you're probably going to want to get a different fence just because of dust collection.
Mm-hmm.
But
This is true.
and if you got to go back and forth from the table saw, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah, but how many times are you breaking down sheet
Yeah.
guns?
I don't know. I mean, I finally, when I brought the Unisaw down, I finally moved everything, and spaced it intentionally so that I have exactly 8 foot 3 inches from where the blade starts to the wall.
Yeah.
I can now get, a full 8 foot length on the saw.
That is nice.
So now I'm more tempted to do it.
I don't have 8 feet. I don't have 8 feet out on my outfeed table. I got like 12 feet back from the edge of the saw, but if I put an 8-footer on there, I'd hit the wall at some point, and then it wouldn't work out so well. For me, I just break sheet goods down with a track saw because it's much easier for me.
I tend to do the same. Yeah.
It's convenient. You don't have to worry about struggling with it. You plop it on the ground, you run a track over it, and you're done.
Absolutely. I honestly, after owning a track saw, I don't know why people would prefer to own a table saw. I mean, it might be quicker because you can set up the fence and you can just keep ripping the same, especially if you need the same size. But I mean, for our size shop, you know what I'm saying? You use what you can, and track saw is money.
Yeah,
Whatever
definitely.
dude who just got a new table saw.
But I wouldn't talk over there, Mr. Banner in the background.
Hey,
So no one can see this, but Nick has a saw stop banner in the back. He hasn't got his saw yet, but he's already flying the banner.
that's right. Flying that flag, raising that Jolly Roger.
So you got anything else going in the shop, Lucas?
No, I mean, like I said, just a few small little projects, little jobs to do. Couple little fabrication jobs, machining jobs.
Nice.
Very
Nice.
basic stuff. That's just got to get done. So that's the keep the lights on.
Yeah, I keep looking on Facebook Marketplace and seeing a lot of mills coming up, different drill presses and whatnot. And I'm going one, I can't fit this anywhere in my shop. And two,
Not with that attitude.
I really want it, but I don't know why. And
You'll find answers for it. I don't understand the question.
When there's a will, there's a way, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he just didn't pick it up.
Getting it.
Kinda, yeah, a little bit,
Okay.
a little bit.
All right.
I don't know if you can mill wood. Can you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Set
Of
your
course.
speeds higher. I'm serious. Just set your speeds higher. Do it.
This thing must have sat, I think, 8 feet tall or something like that. It was a monstrosity. So I only have
It's only
7 foot ceilings
2,500
though.
pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's above those ceilings? Is it just
my bedroom.
Yeah, so you probably had at least 12 inches.
Maybe.
In the,
That's what she said.
I was told I only have a little bit, but I could be wrong.
Well, let's go with 12.
She's lying to you.
Okay,
But if you took that and then you could just pop it up, in between.
I like it. And I might just have
What
to
are we
punch a hole
talking
in the
about?
hardwood. A nice milling machine that I really don't need, but now I do.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Just do it, man.
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll convert the whole shop, and next thing you know, it'll be all
Metal flags.
it's
Aluminum flags.
that's it. I don't know if I can sand those with Orca abrasives though. I'll have to reach out and ask. Hey, can I do a metal flag with this sandpaper?
Yeah, it might be a new realm he wants to get into.
You'd be the only one doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very true. Instead of thin metal flags, I'm going to do ones that weigh 400 or 500 pounds.
That's the only way to do it, man.
Comes with a engine crane to move them.
You could probably still count on the post office to lose it. I'm just saying.
It'll still show up dented either way, man.
Yeah, right. It's solid steel, and somehow they just bent the whole thing.
No lie, I had a piece of railroad track shipped to my house from a guy in New York when I was in New Jersey, and the only thing that arrived was the box that he packed it in. Like there was a hole in the box. This is when I was like trying my hand at blacksmithing, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get a piece of railroad track." This guy was selling like maybe like a 1.5 foot piece, and that thing weighed like a bunch of weight. It was heavy, and the box showed up. I'm like, "That's not right," because I picked it right up without even having to strain. I looked at the bottom. There was a hole. So I called the post office. I'm like, "Yeah, you guys see any railroad track laying around?"
Oh man, that had to be a sight to be seen. It was probably laying in somebody's truck, when they were going around. I couldn't imagine what that bouncing around was.
Yeah, I bet it's in some mailman's garage right now, and he's using it. I'm just saying.
That is very true.
Smashing every package back there. Yeah. Now you know why everything's dead. It's Nick.
Yeah, right? Your railroad ties really screwing everything else up. So, with that. Anyway, Josh, I think the world wants to know what is happening in your shop of shops.
Nothing right now, doing a podcast.
Well, Nick, what's going on in your shop?
Well, I'm glad you asked. No, Josh, go ahead, man.
Okay, well, wow, this week seems like a blur, and my phone is turning on for no reason.
Well, once again, Nick, what's going on in your shop?
I will come over there. I know where you live.
Yes, you do. It would take you like 3 hours to get up here. So I got.
Yeah, I'll be there in 22 hours, guys.
Everyone hold. This is going to be a very long episode. Anyway, long story short, I got wing in my table saw set up with the router lift in there. Mm-hmm. It's sweet. Oh, man, I go out there and just stare at it.
That's a great
need
use.
to come up with a name. You're right.
Yeah. I just look at stuff too.
But you know what? Yeah, you just go out there and stare at it. It'll build itself. That's what I hear.
I've tried that before. Nothing happened.
I was going to say AJ knows, but I've been in the shop in and out. The table's pretty much done. I just need to do some finishing touches, build a bench. They want it in addition to the table, which is the bench. Got the legs in. So I need to go out there and knock that out real quick. I have some shelves I need to build. The wine rack will be built here shortly. Mm-hmm. I have like 7 items I need to price, varying from coin racks to like going away gifts to whiskey display. So it's interesting right now. I got a lot going on, but with the nice weather coming out, try to spend some time with the family this week when I can. Mm-hmm. Because we've been inside almost all winter. We try to go out and whatnot, but sometimes Jersey can get really cold. But yeah, other than that, not much going on. I got my miter saw gauge from Harvey coming in. I bought the wrong UG1 universal.
Hello. You're welcome. I spotted that from a mile away when you posted that story.
From Bridge City, yeah. I didn't realize it until I put it on there, and then old AJ writes as soon as he sees it, "Oh, you got the wrong one." Yeah. I'm like, "Yep." So it's okay. I just have to turn around and use it.
It took me to buy that Bridge City universal gauge. It does angles. It does all this stuff. I'm probably not even going to use half the stuff. I think I bought it just because I wanted it. And I spent probably a week trying to figure out which way my table saw tilted, even though I knew. But then I think their orientation's a little backwards because they say if it tilts to the left, you need the right-hand side. But I'm like, but it tilts to the left. So why wouldn't I get the left one? So they're saying that because their gauge goes to the right side of the blade.
And that's what messed me up.
See?
And that's exactly what messed me up. And having a new table saw, I literally did the same thing. Mm-hmm. I went out there, tilted it. I'm like, oh, according to what they're saying, I need this particular gauge.
Yep.
And
nope.
So I went ahead and I just bought the right one. And I have 2. So that's fun.
You have 2?
What?
Yeah.
2 Harveys?
It was on. Yeah.
Yes, he bought 2 Harvey saws.
Oh, should we get into the Harvey thing?
Yes, we should.
Dude, we should
go for it, bro.
Okay. So, was it last Friday, I got a call from a shipping company. They're like, "Hey, we have a shipment for you." I'm like, "Oh, really? I didn't order anything." They're like, "Well, it's your name and we have your number." And I'm like, "Awesome. Go ahead. Bring it over." And, then all of a sudden they got like in a panic and like hung up on me. I didn't quite understand what was going on.
It was the postal service.
I'm like, we should have delivered this 3 years ago. But not gonna mention the company's name, but they called me again, and this time I'm at work, and like I'm trying to do work and facilitate this call, and it's a driver and broken English, which is okay, but I'm trying to understand him and talk to other people, and he's like, okay, I have this address. Are you at this address? And I'm like, no, I'm not at the address. And he goes, okay, let me go check the back and look at the crate. Goes back and goes, name the first part of your address. And I did. And he goes, yep, that's there. And then he goes, I'll send you a picture with the rest of the information. You just verify it. So he does. And it says North Country Woodworking, insert my address and my full name. And I'm like, great. Has my name on it. It's mine, right? So, he's like, oh, I got to talk to the warehouse. So I'll call you. Actually, it was supposed to be today. And they didn't call me. So I'm kind of curious if Harvey actually sent the table saw and is sitting in the back of a truck right now. And if maybe it'll be delivered to my doorstep sometime this week.
Well, look at the bright side. You now, if they do deliver it, you're now sponsored by Harvey.
For the rest of my life.
They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, they don't know it.
I gave my firstborn to him and didn't know it.
That's right, folks. Harvey Industrial, brought to you by North Country Woodworking.
Yeah, so I mean, I got some interesting stuff going on.
Add them as a paid sponsor, and they'll be like, "We didn't authorize this."
I've always thought about doing that. Just start naming sponsors off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did order the miter saw gauge from them. So, in the beginning, I'm like, well, that's kind of weird to deliver that on a pallet, right?
Table saw. Didn't you see that?
It comes with a free table saw.
Missed that promotion?
You might have ordered the XXXXXL version miter gauge.
Yeah, for like a ship making table saw.
Did you guys ever see that video? I don't know if it was College Humor or what, but the dude was working at a computer store, handing out a free laptop with every thumb drive purchase. And then his boss came and asked him what he was doing, and he was like, "It says it right here," and it was obviously backwards. But anyway, That's like what Josh is going through right now.
Well, I'm waiting for the company to reach out again for a delivery, or just never, because I'll call them. I'll be like, hey, my name was on that package. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen to it. But yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Hey, don't you have a Cricut over by you? Like a Cricut maker?
Yeah, I do.
So what you have to do is just rip off the Harvey labels and then just put like a
Saw stop label.
No, you got to do a saw go. You can't do saw stop. That's trademarked. Saw go.
Yeah.
Stop saw.
We can do something north saw or North Country saw or just
Nick,
NC.
the world has to know what's going on in your shop.
Oh man!
Whoa, that was
a hard outro there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I saved everybody from it. He was going to go into a dad joke, and it wasn't going to go well, and then we were all just going to stare at him.
Hey, my dad jokes are funny.
To you,
Oh, hey, language.
gosh darn it!
Yeah. All right. Are we going to me now, or is Josh?
Yeah.
Josh, you done yet?
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, I'm glad
Thanks,
you
AJ.
asked. I'm glad you asked what was going on in my shop. Finally, got a lot of stuff going on in my shop now that it's operational. The wife had me make some hexagon shelves, which are like 30-degree angles. You're just cutting miters, but yeah. So I did that the other day, and she still wasn't satisfied. I got to go get more material and make more. So I don't know how many she wants, but I think our interior is going to start looking like honeycomb. Anyway. That being said,
It's from the front to the back, from the floor
I know,
to the
right?
ceiling, just honeycombs all over the place.
right, the whole house, and like, where did you put the?
They don't have.
We don't have a toilet paper holder. It's just a honeycomb like pocket. Anyway,
all of them, so you can have all your extra.
Yeah,
that's
right.
right. My new toilet seat is actually a hexagon. But I
His
finally
deck
got
is
the
going
first.
to be built out of honeycombs.
I mean, it's pretty strong. They do airdrops. And
They
stuff
are.
with it.
I mean, anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I derailed that whole conversation.
It's all good, man. And then I shipped my first wave of orders out the other day. I need to start using Shippo or Pirate Ship because this is getting
the way to go.
it's getting ridiculous. I had some guy down here at some third-party logistics place telling me like, "Oh, I'll get you the best prices. We only mark it up from like the listed price by this much." I'm like, "I don't want you to. I don't want it marked up. I want it discounted." I know, right? And then I mean,
Did they have a crate there by chance?
a crate?
A crate.
Yeah, full of tables on my.
Yeah, with my name on it.
No, I rerouted it. Don't worry, buddy. I'll take care of it for you.
I'm sure you will.
But I've got about 10 orders in the works now. Just trying to wade my way through. I finished a Purple Heart metal flag. So it was an American flag with a Purple Heart on it this week. And that was actually, that was probably one of my favorite projects that I've done so far, just because.
That was gorgeous.
Well, thanks, man. I just love the way they turn out. And, especially if it's going to somebody who's earned the Purple Heart. What are you doing over there?
Yeah. Oh, Josh.
I think it's snack time.
Oh, it's Snacky Snack?
Look at Nick. He's grabbing for snacks now.
That's right.
So if you don't know this, Nick always has a snack during the podcast. I always edit it out, but yeah, we got Lucas and Nick just chow.
That's right. We're going to start our own foodie podcast.
Everything's going to be served in a hexagon.
What's on your kitchen table? Oh, those little Thin Mints?
Oh, nice.
Or snow caps
Thin
or whatever
Mints.
they're called. Anyway, I got to make a kitchen table still, but
Is it going to be a
working
hexagon?
on that. No.
Walnut.
Oh my gosh! Could you imagine? I should just make a whole hexagon thing, right, and then epoxy inside of it, so it's like clear with hexagons showing.
That'd be perfect.
That's one way to get rid of the walnut. You just do a trim, man.
Yeah. Well, everybody likes the trim, but and then my miter station is finally complete. Finally, I used some of that melamine, put it down, got final product. I'm happy with it. The only problem with it is I wanted to put like cabinets behind it so I could store stuff, but it didn't happen. I ran out of funding for the Save My Shop project, so I gotta save some more ducats. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's going on in my shop. How about you, there, AJ?
Why don't you just put some hexagons above it?
Already
You're building
got a
them.
house full. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, I could do that too, but then my wife would probably come out here and steal them from me. Find
Just
somewhere
make
to put them.
You got to make them out of MDF, though. The most
MDF?
fine wood. The finest wood out there.
Yep.
I was thinking construction pine.
OSB.
I was just thinking OSB.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
anyway, you'll never guess what's in my shop. Anybody?
Wait.
Milling
AJ,
machine.
the
No,
world,
not a-
everyone wants to
Not a milling
know
machine.
what's in your shop and what flag you're working on.
What flag is in your shop?
That's what the segment should be called.
Yes. It just goes from what's in your shop to which flag are you working on today?
It's in your shop.
Well, let's put it this way. I got quite a few that I'm working on. I have a fire department flag that's almost done. Just got to sand it on the backside, and I sand all of its backside all the time. Got to make sure it's nice and smooth. And then
What grit do you use?
you really want to know? I use 100 because with that Merca sander, 100 feels like it's 220.
You're taking a lot off at one go, man.
Nah, that's how I make them flat. Come on, remember that they curl up like a curly Q? And next thing you know, I have a half pipe of a flag and it's not flat. So anyway, I got a few flags that got to get cleared. Kim's been painting over the weekend. She did a patch on one of them, and I actually have a flag for Lucas as well that I'm building right now.
Yep.
That one I got to trace. I got to sand and then trace it out, so then Nick can trace out my the patch. Then
That's not what he's saying.
then Kim can paint it because she's the painter in this family. I can't paint worth of if my life was dependent on it.
Yeah, I can't paint either. So
I could draw stick figures and they'll probably come out
that might
wrong.
be a new venture.
You go ahead and send those flags to me. I'll paint them up for you, all right? And then I'll stamp my logo and send them out.
On the he'll put it right on the front, right in the union.
I think we lost Josh. Where'd he
No,
go?
He's still there.
Oh, there he is.
So, just flags. And then I was toying with the idea because, of course, I want to one-up my neighbors every single time I walk outside the house. And I'm going to be building my own mailbox post, and it's not going to be a traditional pressure treat 4x4. It's going to be cedar 4x4s, and then I'm going to have a through mortise. I'm going to have other joinery, dowel joinery, and then I think a tusk to pull it all together.
Nice.
I don't know how to do any of that, so I'm going to wing it, and then I'm going to go to
Paint
home.
it light.
Actually, I'm gonna probably paint it fuchsia outside
I think
so it
that'd be
stands
better
out.
choice, yeah.
So you're
Yes.
gonna wing it, huh?
Yep.
Just do it live.
I'm gonna do it live.
You should do it live.
Just
100%.
do it live.
I already thought, because like the whole tutorial that I watched, the guy did it in no time, and I was like, hey, I have a bandsaw and some knowledge of how to use it the wrong way, so I think I could do this. And the guy did it.
I know how to do wood.
All you're going to see is me go to Lowe's. I'm going to pick up the cedar. I'm going to bring it back home, put the plans on it, and probably walk away from
10
it.
years now.
Yep.
The kitchen counter. Is it the kitchen counter?
What kitchen? Oh, no. That was going to be an island. That's, I think, 2
island.
years in the making. I have it all glued up. I just don't have the base for it. I think the base is kind of important, though. So I'm not sure how the island's going to work out in my favor. Which actually, I think I was going to take that island top and make it into just small cutting boards and call it a day, and forget about the island. But
Make a lot of money off that, big piece right there, man.
if you haven't noticed, my own projects usually go out years. But by the time I have kids and they're like married and have their own kids, I may get to the mailbox. We're not sure yet. So
it does seem like the appropriate time in life to do it.
it does,
Yeah.
Make
I
sure
want
you
it
have time to enjoy it. Perfect. Yep. Yep.
as they're pulling me away in the ambulance, being like, "Hey, wave goodbye." Oh well, I just built that yesterday.
I did that. Yeah.
I'll be pointing it out. You like my mailbox?
It's the fuchsia one.
The fuchsia one. But I got just flags right now, and I'm winding down a little bit. I still got a ton of orders that I still have to do. But no new orders are coming through, except for a set of cornhole boards. And I think I might have mentioned this on last episode. I have a set of cornhole boards that a gentleman has volunteer fire, and then in town he wants some thin red line with his patch painted on it, and then he wants them doubled. He wants not doubled, one board he wants with his fire department patch, one board he wants with a thin yellow line with his jobs patch, which I thought was pretty cool. It's going to be different. I made one set of cornhole boards so far and screwed up. So hopefully I don't on this one.
Use your CNC.
I might.
You got to measure the hole, though.
Or I'm just going to buy a milling machine and construct it off of that, right?
There you go.
I'm going to mill the
Go
hole.
big, go home.
While we're speaking of cornhole boards, I know Josh is like an expert at them. Nick apparently was doing them for like 30 some odd years.
He had a business building them.
Yeah, Low Country Corn Stars.
So
I'm not even kidding. We were big.
I don't doubt you. I'm laughing at the name of it. I think it's
We
hysterical.
were
That's
deep
the first.
into cornhole.
Hopefully, you made that cornhole hole not over 6 inch.
No, I had a whole saw.
You had a
This is
whole saw?
way long before CNC, like the ability to buy one for consumer.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I see.
back when I was a young boy,
So how'd you make your hole?
it was a whole saw. Well, the first ones I made with a jigsaw that turned out like
That's a good one.
straight.
So
That turned
it
out like
wasn't really a
trash.
circle.
Yeah, it was like
It's
more
my
like
kid drawing a circle.
it was like a wavy circle.
Oh, we were talking about wavy cornhole
Is it-
boards, right?
It's a feature, man. No one else has
It was a
wavy
feature.
circles.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to start just doing triangles instead of holes. They're just going to be triangles.
Uh-huh.
So I have to know, because the one I built was out of 1x3s and 3/4 ply. What is a traditional cornhole board made out of?
I think it's
You go and buy the
regulation.
Regulation, yeah.
I get, not really regulation, not like the set you had to make, Josh, but just because I made them that way. So I know that you can use 2x4s and 1/2 inch, I believe.
That's what they call for. That's what I have used because that's what they call for. And, people that order, they might not be using them for any kind of competition or whatever, but the first set they were, and if I continue to make the same, I just get better at making that same, and, getting a flow. And I usually use a maple ply for the top, and it's usually pretty good stuff. And, it's really not that hard, man. You build a box,
Yeah.
and put some plywood on it.
The only issue,
The hardest part for me is the
birch.
1/2 inch Baltic birch.
That's probably
they do call for but usually you put a finish on top of it, so it really doesn't really matter, what the plywood is. But the only issue I ever run into is the legs. Sometimes I have issues with exact where to drill that hole and make it, swing right.
By the way, if you had a Rockler drill guide, you wouldn't have that problem.
That is true. Josh, do you want to explain what Nick's talking about?
Yeah, we can dive into that real quick. I kind of left that out for a reason.
Well, we're bringing it up.
Thank you, Nick. So here, let me preface this with is I was having trouble drilling a straight hole in the table leg, and I wasn't really getting too creative with it. But I went on Amazon and grabbed a certain brand guide. And it was delivered, and I got real excited. Got out there, put it together, and drilled a hole. First hole went fine, it was round. Went to go do the actual leg, and the shaft broke as it touched the wood.
That's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Yeah, so not something I could fix on hand. I immediately asked for a refund through Amazon and put it back in the box and everything I still had on the counter.
So you put your broken shaft back in the box?
Yeah, and got a refund for it.
You got a refund for it.
How many people can say that?
That's talent. That's talent.
Normally you got a doctor for that.
Yeah, you don't want to run at some wood with your shaft.
No, see, I fixed it. I got through it. I had a piece of dowel that actually fit fairly well in the hole, and drilled a straight hole in it on my drill press, and went at it and got it nice and straight, and threw some levelers in there, and she's good to go. So with broken shaft and all, I got her done.
Wow, that's talent. Now, were you drilling fast, and is that how it broke your shaft?
See, the thing is following all the directions that come with the shaft, and it was fine. I did nothing wrong. It had to be broken. It disintegrated.
Did you push too hard?
Sometimes if you push too hard, things break.
They do.
Yeah. Well, I was medium pressure. I wasn't going too fast. It was nice and steady pace, and you just couldn't handle it.
He was standing on top of the drill press, pushing down with it.
Jumping on it. Yeah.
Boom goes the
Amazon
dynamite.
might be listening, so shh.
Should I put them down as a sponsor?
So anyway,
Moving on.
I heard about this whole tragedy that Josh had, and I immediately went out and made an Instagram video. Minutes within minutes.
So usually I don't ever talk about a brand negatively. If I don't like it, I just won't talk about it, period, point blank. But I got caught up in the whole my shaft breaking and was pretty upset. Did that, and then I get a notification that PG Creations posted something, and I look, and it's him using a good shaft and going to town.
I had the great idea of just violently using my Rockler drill guide and drilling into scrap wood, just laughing the whole way and screaming, "You should have bought a Rockler." Anyway, go check it out.
Sponsored.
Definitely throwing some hate.
Yeah,
So-
we're not sponsored by Rockler, but
Yes, that one.
yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep.
That's pretty stout.
That's the one to get.
Yeah, not the other one you got. But with that, before we go into questions, we're going to put you in the spotlight, Lucas. We're going to get to know you.
in the hot seat.
All right.
So do you ever drill and break your shaft? The world wants to know.
I would say it has definitely happened. I think it's a rite
Okay.
of passage. Don't you?
Waiting for you two.
I'd rather the bits break than the shaft.
It's got to happen at some
Yeah.
point. This is true. Well, maybe not. You never know.
So you were talking about the Unidrill before, and I've never seen one before until you started posting it up. Now, what are you going to use that monstrosity for? I know you're going to find something to do with it.
Has to.
I am probably going to drill some pen blanks.
Okay.
I think would be a good start.
Nice.
No, I don't. I honestly, I don't know. I have no idea. The thing that's beneficial about it is with larger work pieces. Like if I have a big, I don't know, anything, chunk of wood, chunk of cast, whatever it is, if there's a large item that is kind of inconvenient to move around in position, like on a traditional drill press, you move your work to the drill bit, right? You move the table up and down, you position it, all that, right? On the Unidrill, you fixture your work, and you have the ability to move the drill bit to your work by way of the arm and the knuckle and the column. So the head on the machine actually moves up and down as opposed to the table. And there's two pivot points and a rotational axis, so it enables you to position your drill bit exactly where it has to be. So it's good for larger format stuff where you're going to have to move the drill around, and instead of lugging this big piece around, you can just reposition your drill.
That's really cool. Like I said, that was the first time I ever saw one. And then what? I know you always wanted one, and when you got it, you were stoked to get it. And does it seem like it's taken a lot longer than you wanted it to restore it, or is it going how you wanted it to?
Well, it's going how I wanted. I don't know if you remember the vise I did last year. That was like an 8-month vise.
I will never forget that vise.
So yeah. So I mean, I'm not working on it all the time either. Like I might work on it a day or two, and then got to do other stuff. So when all is said and done, it'll probably be a week to a week and a half, maybe, worth of time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely going well. I mean, every single part on it, on every component, has come apart and either been, cleaned and evaporusted, or remachined, or remade, and then painted, or sealed, waxed, whatever it may be, put back together, polished. So every single part of it has been touched and gone through.
It's definitely it's cool to see.
For no real,
it's cool to see something come into your shop, especially like that in the the Unisaw, where you can make your own parts as well. Because I know even with that Rockwell drill, that you had parts that were not, maybe missing or whatnot, and then you just said, I'm going to turn it on my lathe, and next thing you know, you have the handle for it. And it's pretty cool watching it all come together, right out of your shop.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's nice to be able to make whatever part, make or fabricate a part, without having to source it. I mean, there's definitely been stuff that I've looked for that I couldn't find, or was, prohibitively expensive perhaps. And, it might be something that I don't really know how to do, or it's a process that I'm not familiar with. But if I have the means to do it, I'll try and figure out how to do it. Like making those aluminum knobs, there's curved knobs, and on a metal lathe, there are definitely ways you can do it, but typically a metal lathe is fixed axis, side left to right, and that, you can taper, but like actually doing a curve, you basically have to grind your own tooling that is a curve. So what I ended up doing was just using a carbide wood turning chisel, because it's on non-ferrous metal like aluminum or brass, you can just use it.
Yeah.
Inch of, a wood turning chisel. And
that's crazy. Well, I mean, it's always cool seeing what you get in your shop and, watching stuff come to life. And, one question when you were saying, if you can't find something and whatnot, I got to know, what do you think's hidden behind all those bins and bolt bins? And they just seem like they go on forever. Those bins of stuff where you just pulled I remember on some of your stories, literally you open one bin and it's like, I can't remember what it was, but you were like, yeah, I just have a whole bin of these. And then next one was a whole bin of something else. You think there's another like Unidrill back there?
Oh, that'd be nice. There's like a 5 by 10 foot stone chimney that is it's a structural chimney. It's a new thing. That's
nice.
What's back there. It's monstrosity. and then a lot of junk that's every time I put something on top of it, then it falls behind. So there's a lot of good stuff back there. Eventually
Get a high-powered magnet. Just
Yeah.
You don't want to do that in his shop, man.
No.
no, that'd be real bad.
Everything comes
And
from
badly
every
for
which
everybody.
way.
So,
Yeah,
so you got a lot of like metal parts just hanging around in different bins, right?
I got a lot. Yeah, I got a lot of everything just hanging around in different places.
So
Yeah.
like I know like me, I have just like a rough estimate in my head of a catalog of where I think things are in my shop. Do you like, are you that way too, where you're like, oh, I have a knob that could fit this, but it's over here in this bin? And
yeah, I use like a computerized inventory system, like at like Home Depot, that kind of thing. So I just type in what I'm looking for.
Scans it.
No, I've thought about it. That'd be nice. No, I mean, I don't know. Unless it's a funnel, I can.
okay. So you just memorize where you
I
keep
have like
things.
15 funnels. Gone. Yeah. I mean, it gets problematic sometimes. Like, I don't know. It might take me a day to remember where it is, but I'll find it. Except for the funnels, never will find those. They're gone. They're behind.
Of course, it's just like a pencil in a shop. You put it down, and next thing you know, it's gone, and you wonder where you put it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'll put something down and immediately.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Immediately gone.
And sometimes
Yes.
it's not something small. Sometimes it's like,
No, like I'll put down a drill and it's gone.
I bring yellow drills and I do the same thing. Like,
Ta-da!
how do you lose a bright yellow drill?
It's magic. It's just disappearing acts, man.
one day you turn around, the unit drill's just gone. You're like, I just put it here. I don't even know where it is.
Just
That
finished.
thing doesn't move easy.
It's behind the bins. It just fell back.
So with all the projects, one that I haven't seen, maybe I just missed it, but I haven't seen anything come about with is the shopsmith that you were building. You were redoing it, and then you were building the bench for it. Where is that still tucked back in the corner? Should we not talk about it?
It is at an off-site. It's at a secure off-site storage facility.
Okay.
Currently. Because I just need some space, and it's pretty much done. I just need, shockingly, I need space. It's pretty much done. I think the only thing I need to do is polish the aluminum table, the table saw table, and mount the motor. But before I mount the motor is currently on the south bend lathe, so I have to take it off the south bend lathe and make a bracket to convert the mounting holes on the south bend lathe to a different motor that I have. I put that on that, take the motor to go to the shopsmith, put it back in the shopsmith, and then it'll be done. And then what? That's the question.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
And then what? I'll let you know. Any ideas?
Sell it? I
I'm
have
thinking
no
about
idea.
putting it in my office. I think it'll just go in my office. And
Hey,
be cool.
that's good. You need a new pen. You just turn one while you're sitting there.
Yeah, well, that's what we get. Pencil breaks.
Right?
Chuck it in there.
That's how you sharpen
You
your
lose one in
pencils.
the shop, you just make a new one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but it's done. It looks pretty, and it's out of sight, out of mind.
Okay. Wow.
Apparently. For better or for worse.
Yeah, right. Well, that was definitely it was cool watching it come together. I've never seen a shopsmith until then, and
Yeah, they're neat. I mean, jack of all trades, master of none is really what they are.
yeah, it was neat seeing it, in its almost pristine condition. I mean, you brought that thing right back to life.
Yeah.
And it does look like a work of art and could sit in, an office or something like that as a display piece.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I tore it apart like 6 years ago. And just like, I didn't even live. I was in a different house, different shop, brought all the parts. They were just sitting for years. And I'm like, A, I need some space back. B, I just got to get this thing done because I'm going to lose parts. I'm going to forget where they are. I'm going to forget how it goes together. So just kind of figured I'd get it done and put it back together. And that wooden base for it is the original.
Wow.
Too.
Oh, well.
That's even better.
That's how it came in the mid 40s.
Wow.
With that plank base and the metal legs. Yeah.
It looks just like some random, like a random bench somebody would put together and was like, I need somewhere to put my shopsmith. Oh, here it is.
Well, exactly. But like that's how it started. Like that is actually, it's a shopsmith, but it's made by Magna. It's a 10 ER, and it was they were like, hey, let's make, like, we got an idea, let's do it. And so it wasn't until I believe the early 50s that shopsmith became its own entity. Prior to that, like this model, it was just a model name. So that was when they started actually, really going for it and making them. That was when they, went to like the metal legs, the whole wood, I guess is what I'm getting at. So it really was like an early.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Piece of history right there.
Yeah, right. And it looks it has that that antique look, and just
totally.
you know it's old as soon as you see it, but it's so well put together that it's like I said, a piece of art, and that definitely came out real nice.
I feel like your mom joke coming out.
I never did any like finished.
My what?
I mean, it's so old, but it's well put together. Like your mom. No, I'm just playing.
Jesus,
I'm a child. I'm a child.
Lord,
shots fired.
My mom listens to this podcast.
Oh, she does?
No, I'm just joking.
Yours don't?
No.
She wanted to.
My whole family's over here listening while I record.
Oh, really?
They're like, what did you guys?
Yeah, who are those people?
What did you do?
All you hear from the background is just log off. Just log off. They won't know.
Yeah, just close the laptop.
Well, I have a question for Lucas. If I could get one in, is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I gotta know, like, everybody has their bread and butter, what they love to make or what they're really good at making. For you, what's your cup of tea? Like, are you like better at one thing, like welding or milling or woodwork, or what do you like to do the most? Or what do you like to make?
That's a good one. Carpentry is definitely my background. That's what I've done the longest, and I think that's probably what I'm most comfortable with. Doing rough finish carpentry and always attempting to continue on to the fine finish carpentry, which is a fine finish carpenter. I'm not, but attempting. But that's definitely what I feel the most comfortable with and have done the most, and we'll just dive into. But I really so much enjoy the other facets of being able to fabricate and build. So the metalworking thing is fairly new in the grand scheme of things. Like I got the milling machine, I think 2 years ago, and that was really my first exposure to machining. And then got the lathe soon after that. And I just kind of dived in.
It doesn't matter.
Jumped in and have just, really enjoyed learning those processes. So I think bread and butter is probably carpentry. Okay. But what I most enjoy lately has been the challenge of new machining processes and, just learning how to do stuff, figuring it out.
Nice.
Well, a lot of it's new, and you're really doing a good job while you're doing it. And when you're learning something new, you guys are like me. You dive into that process. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You want to learn everything about it. My wife, used to call them hows before I got to woodworking. Anything and everything I was trying to learn, dive into it.
Yeah, totally. No, totally. I mean, it's fun to do, and like sometimes it can be nerve wracking. Like if I'm trying to do a totally new process on a part that is just completely irreplaceable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a great therapeutic exercise.
Is there a metalworking process, woodworking process, something that you've been kind of wanting to learn more about and you just haven't had the time? Or maybe just a new side to the making community that you really wanted to dive into, just didn't have the time?
I think that something I would definitely love to do more of and learn, actually learn.
Yeah.
As opposed to just do it, would be welding. I can MIG weld, just fine. I'm not great. I can get it done. But I would love to refine that. And I would also really, really enjoy, learning and exploring TIG welding. So I guess welding would be something I'd like to do a lot more of and refine that quite a bit.
All right, so I got a question for Lucas. One more last one for me is
shoot.
Is there anything that you absolutely despise doing in the shop? Like,
yes,
because I know you weld, you woodwork, you do everything. You're a jack of all trades. What do you hate to do besides painting? Because you already mentioned that earlier.
I got two things actually. One is finishing. I don't like finishing. I like the finished product, but the process, I don't. I'm really. Patience is something that I'm working on, but I don't have it's not my strong suit. So finishing is definitely
It's cool,
something
man.
I dislike.
I have a hard time finishing too sometimes.
Yeah, so there's that, and then cleanup, which I guess comes after finishing. Is,
Oh my goodness.
We're talking about cleaning the shop, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
correct. Yeah, I mean that's just like every night of my life.
Oh, okay.
I think I can go down there at any given
You get to
time.
go in the shop and clean up like that every night?
No matter what day, no matter what, walk down there, boom.
It's got to clean
First,
up.
start with cleanup. Gotta clean
Nice.
up.
So
Yeah, if you don't, it'll get all sticky and then it just...
it's
from
a
there.
mess. Yeah.
Yeah, those urethanes. Yeah.
Anywho,
So one last, and I know this will be a quick question for you. You have a 55-gallon drum of evaporust. What's going to be the first thing you dunk into that 55-gallon drum?
Well, first thing I got to do is I think I got to put it in a different drum because it's one of those stupid drums that's just got the two little bungs on top.
Oh.
It doesn't open, so I literally can't. First thing I did is I put a crowbar in it because that was the only thing I could fit in the hole. So I've used a little bit. I mean, like I did the column for the drill.
Mhm.
I put it in 4-inch PVC,
Yep.
with a glued cap on the bottom, so I could do it. But yeah, I got to put it in a different drum. And then I think I want to get a vise. I want to get like the biggest, rustiest vise I can find and just put the whole thing in it.
Nice.
Complete. I'm not going to take it apart. I just want something that's like totally assembled and rusty and just put the whole thing in it.
There's a
That's
few
what
in
I-
West Milford I could send you. I've been watching them on Facebook, and this guy's selling a couple rusted vices, and they look like they were just sunken, and the guy dug them out of his backyard.
he went diving and found them.
Yeah.
Let's do that then, yeah.
So, well, I will definitely look forward to watching that story of you either transferring that evaporust into another thing or finding the largest vice that you can and dunking it in. And with that, Josh.
Yeah, with that, we
I-
have some questions submitted by our faithful listeners. I know AJ really wants to know, and the world does as well. Tyler from Wooden Whiskers submitted a question via voicemail. So let's see what he has to say.
What's up, fellas? Tyler here, Wooden Whiskers Trading Company. So, pretty cool. You got Lucas on the pod this week. I got 2 questions for Mr. Lucas. First question. What motivates you more, metalworking or woodworking? I think I may know the answer. And then my second question is, what do you do about weld shrinkage? Weld shrinkage, how do you account for it? I'm interested. Thanks, guys.
Well, that's a loaded question if I ever heard one.
Tell you what. Yeah, he's down in nice, warm Florida, so I don't have to worry about that. Wood or metal? I think I maybe touched upon it a little bit. Like comfort zone is wood, but like interest level and wanting to, execute and further and, do more of is definitely, I think, metal. So go with that one. And then the second one's really easy, actually. How do you account for it? I don't.
You just lay it down and pray.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What is it? A grinder and paint makes a.
No.
But no, I don't have enough technical welding expertise or knowledge to safely answer it. I mean, I know. I guess really what it is like the heat will literally cause expansion or contraction of the material, which can pull back a little bit, I guess, and cause either an incomplete weld or a bad weld. I think that's kind of my rough understanding of it. But the kind of stuff that I do, not really something that you need to account for. We're not talking a high level of operation here.
Yeah, right.
I would say. I think that's
usually to
put it
account
nicely. We're not talking high level welding.
No, but usually I know Nick said that to account for shrinkage, he just lies and says it's this one size, and then when it's not, he
Right.
just sits
I'm a
He
grower,
just
not a
uses his
shower.
ruler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, he uses his 8-foot level that he uses as a ruler.
Yeah.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
So
Someone cut. Never mind.
yeah,
Moving on.
anyway, I have heard about welding that because I deal with a welder at our shop that has done quite a few projects for us. And I know one of the biggest things, I don't know if this contributes to weld shrinkage or anything like that, but I know he was talking about in one of his videos that he actually has to make sure that both pieces of metal were at a certain temp before he welded them together to get, like you were saying, a complete weld, make sure it bonded right. And I guess then you wouldn't, maybe it would lessen a weld shrinkage. I've never even heard of that term.
I mean, I'm sure there's acclimation, but obviously there's acclimation with metal, same as there is wood.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Wood's moisture, though. Metal is temperature, right?
Yeah, it's more temperature.
Right, but it'll still, I mean, even to a point, it'll still expand and contract with heat enough to probably affect the operation of the process.
And that's where you're talking about the shrinkage as well. I mean, like, with something like that, yeah, I mean, you're heating up high heat and then it's going to cool off. That's where you're going to get the shrinkage from.
Nobody wants a hot, moist wood.
There you go.
Jesus. How did we allow him? Where did you come from? Who invited you?
I don't know, guys. I'm just here for the free stuff.
I don't know, guys. Anyway, so with that, I think we welded that one home. And
oh, jeez, you talk about my dad jokes?
Yes, I do. And then I play on them. Anyway, so with that, enough about Nick's shrinkage. We got another question that got sent in by a gentleman on Instagram, and his Instagram handle is Veterenvinyldesigns. His question today was, what have you seen personally as your biggest growth in woodworking since you started? Now, we don't necessarily have to say woodworking, especially if, Lucas, you have all the metalworking as well. I'm going to throw it to Lucas. What was your biggest growth, I guess, since you started your whole journey in woodworking and metalworking?
I think gaining and learning or understanding processes more so. I mean, it's not so much, I think, the finished product that I look at as something that's improved, but the time it takes to get there, like the setup time. So if I something that maybe used to take me an hour or two to do and to get right, being able to have gone through that motion enough and refine it enough to now have it be a much faster process to get that same outcome, is, I think that's the thing that has furthered me the most, is the understanding the process and being able to repeat it and be more efficient about it. You know what I mean? As opposed to a particular technique, I think it's just refining the processes, getting those down pat.
Yeah.
Same time, get it more reliable, more accurate, more repeatable.
Save time, so you're just not walking around the shop aimlessly thinking of
looking for the drill I put down.
And Josh, what was your biggest growth?
I like the process. Luke, you hit it right on the head, man. But for me, honestly, comfort level. In the beginning, I would be really hesitant to start something that I've never done before. And it wasn't necessarily because I wasn't comfortable doing that. It was just I didn't know how to go about, starting it.
Yep.
Now I've done so many different things in the shop where I've never done before, and it just kind of comes naturally. Okay, how am I going to go about this, and how am I going to do it? And it's just like putting things together and making it work. And it's almost like those table legs. I bought a tool that was supposed to do the job for me. It didn't work out. So that same day I was able to come up with something, and it worked. Like, it's just one of those things where you just sometimes have to go outside the box and you have to just make it work. And I think that's my biggest growth, is I'm more able to do that now than when I started. So what about you, AJ?
I'd say the process as well. As you can see, I came a long way since the very first flag that I ever did. That was a completely different process than they are done today. But I can hit off of what you said, Josh, because I have a big project that it's not terribly big to somebody who's doing this full time, but for me, that it's just that bench, and it's a bench with some storage. And to me, I'm like, okay, it's not my flag, so now I need to tailor the way I'm going to do things and how am I going to do it? How do I want to start? Of course, you got to start with the carcass of it. I can't start with, the outside. So I know how to start with it, but it's putting that, instead of the pen to the paper, I got to put the saw to the wood and get it going. But it's a big project, so I don't want to screw it up. So, but processes have changed. I also like seeing finished products, but I'd say the process is the biggest growth of them all. And I'm trying to steer clear of Nick with asking him what his biggest growth is. Because
He's primed and ready, man.
Because I can't see him.
I already said it. I mean, I'm a grower, not a shower. So, anyway, are you going to ask me or no?
Yes, Nick. Josh really wants to know, what is your biggest growth?
Ingenuity. And I say that because no matter how many times I go to try something new, I need a new tool for it, or I need to be able to do something with a larger blade or angled cut or whatnot. I have learned so much in the past couple years on how to get around the problems that arise when you don't have the proper equipment. And so much so to do it safely, because obviously I won't compromise safety. But I think that's probably one of my biggest things is, I'm never going to stop learning. I'm always going to be soaking the techniques and tricks and little nuances up like a sponge. But the ability to adapt and overcome to achieve your goals is probably one of the most valuable you can have in the shop. So that's about all I got.
Yeah. But that's why we're all here. I mean, we all love learning. We continue to learn, and partly the community that we're in, I've met all of you guys on the internet. I've met obviously the AJ and Nick in person, but that was after meeting them on the internet. Not weird, I swear. But I mean, the community is a big thing.
And we met on MySpace.
You met on MySpace.
That's it. We're good. We got it. Got the picture there.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
With Tom.
With Tom. He was my first friend.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, but I think Nick has something to say about community.
I do. So I know there are a bunch of different factions of woodworking and makers and whatever you want to call yourself. We're all in this together. Lucas said this earlier. We're all in this together. So just do everybody a favor. Do yourself a favor. Be kind to your fellow maker, regardless of how they make things. There is some rivalry, I guess, between the different types of woodworking, whether it be, traditional or CNC or all the new age stuff. But in the end, there's enough food on the table for everybody to eat. We just have to find a seat at the table and grab a fork and knife and dig in. So just make sure you're kind to everybody. But that's all I have to say about that.
Nice.
Oh,
hey,
man.
Lucas, do you have anything for us? Any questions that you want to know since you're here?
Oh,
be easy.
I didn't prepare any. I feel like I came to the table ill prepared. You guys had nice questions.
We do
No,
this.
we're here-
We do this
we're-
whole podcast unprepared.
Oh yeah, every time. You saw at the beginning.
I'll tell you, I think it's gone very well for your 39 prior episodes, and I'm sorry to just totally derail it now. I'm sure I'll be banned from iTunes. So, no, I think it's been great. You guys have done a great job, and it's always a good listen. So,
Thank
well,
you.
we appreciate having you on. We're going to wrap it up here, and with that, wrapping.
Yep.
Let's go, Nick. Let's hear from our sponsors.
That's right. Let's hear from our sponsors, Jtechphotonics. If you need that awesome, outstanding laser for your CNC, go ahead and head on over to jtechphotonics.com. Give them a look-see. Give them a phone call. Whatever you got to do. Jay will help you out no matter what. And tell them Nick sent you. And next up, Totalboat Epoxy makes some of the most, outstanding epoxy in the world. I just used some the other day. Actually, it was 2 days ago on a project I was making. And turned out flawless. So give them a look-see on the Instagram or go to the website at totalboat.com. For 15% off, make sure you use promo code SawdustNationPod. I don't know what happened there. But lastly...
You're keeping that in. You know that, right?
Lastly, we want to give Orca Abrasives a giant thank you. And if you are in the market for some abrasives, go to their website, which is on our Instagrams. You can use Go to Orca Abrasives website, and you can use a promo code SawdustNation10 to receive 10% off your Orca order. I don't know what that is. Is that an orca? That's the sound of an orca. Is that what we're doing now? Shameless promotional. I need a party horn or an air horn next time. Anyway,
with the lasers next time, we're really going to get into it.
That's it for our sponsors. I do want to mention that our 50th is coming up, 10 episodes away. We've got a boatload, I guess you could say, of prizes for giveaway items. You're going to have to be present for our YouTube Live to win, but you do not want to miss. I had just got some more in the mail today. And next up, 22nd of April, if you are in the San Antonio area, come on out to the Woodcraft store at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to 8 p.m. And we're going to have a meet and greet. It's for all the woodworkers of the San Antonio area. Woodcraft is throwing it. Sawdust Nation Podcast is sponsoring a giveaway. It's going to be a great time. Nice. With that, I'm going to pass it on over to AJ.
All I know is that 50th episode giveaway is so good that I love you guys, but I think I would quit the podcast so I could enter. It's that good. Trust me.
I never expected it to be like this, but it's gonna be huge.
Huge.
It's blowing our minds, and we know that it's gonna blow everybody's mind when they hear about it.
Don't forget our events that are coming up. We have a live event coming up on April 6th at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join us for that. I'm sure we're going to have some things we're going to give away, including Cuxall and some Orca abrasives. So if you really need some of that sandpaper, you should be there listening to us live before the show. And then on the 29th, we're going to have another special guest on, and you're just going to have to keep listening to see who.
Well, we definitely will have a special guest on, and let's just put it this way. Hopefully he brings, how can I put this? Some scientific questions to the air.
Some fuel to the podcast.
Yes. Some scientific fuel. Anyway. Yeah. So with that.
Hint.
Well, with that, if you guys want to reach us on Instagram, you can reach myself over at Crafted in NJ. You can reach the lovely, the one, the only Josh from North Country Woodworking. You can reach Lies About Its Size, Nick over at MPG Creations.
The ruler says what the ruler says.
Name, right? Lies About Its Size.
Sorry.
You guess.
It's true.
It's true. I'm sorry, Nick. I love you. And
I think I'm following that one already.
And if you want to reach Lucas on Instagram, you can reach him at Man Made In MA. And if you're not following him, go give him a follow, because I'm telling you, the stuff that he comes out with, the new tools, the new old tools that you get and bring into your arsenal, and then to watch you bring them from your side yard into your basement is a feat in itself, because I'm still I would love to be there one day to just watch how that Unidrill might leave one day and go through.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me both.
I think it's going to be stuck there. So
structural.
With that, yeah, right. It's going to become part of the house at this point. And if you guys listen to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. We don't accept any lower. If you send a 4-star or lower, what happens is Josh's cat will find you, break your fingers, and then make you do a 5-star review.
Wow.
This cat is vicious when it comes to reviews.
That got dark.
Her name is Walnut, just so you know. So just to know that. Anyway, don't mess with Josh's cat. That's all I have to say. But leave us a review. the more reviews, the more stars we get, the higher up we go into the Apple Podcast community, and the more people that we can reach. And maybe at 100 episodes, we'll be giving away a full-blown shop at that point. We'll be that big.
Maybe a sauce stop.
I
know where there's one.
I'm definitely quitting at that point and then entering.
Well, we know where there's a sauce stop here shortly, so.
We do. I redirected it anyway. You don't have to
Oh,
worry
my
about
goodness.
it. So
We were after your joiner. Now you're getting a sauce stop,
Yes.
man. All bets are off.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would want to sit on a saw stop. I mean, it would stop. So
Yeah, you'd be safe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would.
You've seen the demos.
Yes, they do take a hot dog.
Yeah. That hot dog test is.
That poor hot dog, man.
That poor hot dog. Do you think anybody ate that hot dog after? That is the question.
I'm sure there's somebody.
Probably Nick.
Save
Moving
the hot
on.
dogs.
With that, last words. Okay, let's get that warm hug from Nick.
Remember, take care of yourselves and each other until next time.
And I usually just go bye-byes, everybody. Bye-byes. And then I say something like, if you're in the shop, go make some sawdust or some stuff like that. And then, Nick, I think you pop in, right?
Yeah, I say Sawdust Nation out.
Ah, yes. Out.
I guess last words. Don't let a lack of ability or don't let a lack of experience stop you from diving in head first on a project.
Look at that.
You know?
Slow clap.
Better than what I have, because all I'm going to tell you guys to do is go make some sawdust this week and have fun. Sawdust Nation, out.
Out. Man, you guys were really, really harping on my size this week.
Well, we heard it was a little un poquito.
Look, it's cold up here, okay?
It's cold up
Or
there. It's
down
going to
here.
be 25
Actually,
over
yeah,
here.
Yeah, let's discuss temperature. That's not an excuse anymore for you.
No, it is not.
Well, I guess you're right. I'm just small.
Yes.
Anyway,
Ay.
Lucas, hey man, it's been a
You just
pleasure.
defriended every single one of
Yeah.
us.
I just saw my numbers drop. It says unfollowed.
3 people unfollowed you.